Okay, without further ado, let's begin the analysis of our Sultai mid-range game. Our opening hand is not looking very good, just one land, 3 Merfolk Branch Walkers, Wildgrowth Walker, while for most situations it would be pretty decent, but instead of Hostage Taker, if he had, like, Anraska had a land, this would have been almost a perfect hand. But anyway, let's see what I do here. I do take a deep breath, and I believe I'll be mulliganing that. Instead, we got a 3-land Hostage Taker again. I believe that is also a good decision, because the Hydroid Crisis, I already have one. I already have a Hydroid Crisis, that's 1. 2 Hydroid Cases is best served later. Listen, my starting hand will not be able to help it. Let's see. Okay, looks like my opponent is playing mono red potentially, but mono red would have played something by now. And that, my friend, is how you know you're getting mono screwed. Yep, Merfolk Trickster. This looks like a third game, so I must have encountered this guy before. Regardless, we're going to be looking at 2 games. So it looks like I have sideboarded in a Ritual of Soot, as well as basically a standard anti-aggro setup. No, not a standard anti-aggro setup, actually. It's a mix of the two against mono blue tempo because it oftentimes utilizes counter spells to deal with its problems. So we have a lot of duresses and some counter spells. I believe actually no, only duresses and removal. Curious Succession. Okay, now an interesting choice, preventing them from drawing. Yep, I remember this game. It was a tough one. Okay, let's pause here for a sec. I think this might have been a subpar move because Hostage Taker is too high value. I should have instead played the Jade Light Ranger, or even actually no, Hydroid Crisis wouldn't have worked because it's not an even number. Jade Light Ranger might have been better, especially if she had a 4/3 or just 1 land and none land explored, making her power up to 3. Let's see what happens. Okay, Hostage Taker goes through. Dive down. Fucking dive down. Yep, and opponent had dive down. Well, in the end, it was an equal amount, so that's great. Duress goes in. And we see bad stuff. 2 counter spells, 1 dive down, and 1 Trancing Melody. So we should not be using Hydroid Crisis against this guy. Fuck. Yep. What do we take out? I would say a counterspell is the best one. Take out the counterspell. Yep, I have just made a mistake right there. I was trying to play Hydroid Crisis even though I had seen the Entrancing Melody. So that would have been a problem. A Jade Light Ranger definitely helps a lot more. Okay, 1 land and none land. It's That's a 3-2. Which will either make my opponent use a dive down, or... Oh, my turn. I see. Another Merfolk Trickster. Even if I do cast it, he can counter it. Think. He's got dive down. Does have a dive down. Fuck. Okay, let's pause for a second. There is actually, I believe, a way to... No, both of them would get countered. But I would at least get rid of his counters against it. That's a dive down. I have to get rid of them. As such, I will need to cast a Ritual of Soot in this case. This is a very tough game, very tough decision. This is why Mono Blue Tempo is so strong. Us countering everything. And then I'm going to use Jade Light Ranger to prevent him from being able to draw 2 cards. He's saving the Entrancing Melody against Hydroid Krasis, which is the mistake that he is making. Let's see. In this scenario, the best way to go would probably be to bring him in, but with enough mana to cast a removal spell. Well, it's a 4/4, so he will cast an Entrancing Melody for 2, using his entire mana pool. And then this will allow him to draw 2, but letting me play for 1 more turn. Well, he did use 2 of them. Here I'm checking. This is just insane draw right now. I see. I'm having a very difficult time here, but finally I managed to get a Hostage Taker through. Tapped. Now I have to play the Hostage Taker right now. Actually, no, I can play the Merfolk Trickster because Merfolk Trickster has the flash. So, it will be able to block it. Yep, that might indeed be the best way to go. Although, no, Hostage Taker will be the best way to go. I can recast the Hydroid Krasis. Okay, we're turning this around. Yep, we're actually doing this. This is why you don't give up. Might actually win this. Yeah, I kind of forgot to turn off the microphone, as you might have noticed. As Surge Mare. I remember this game, and this was the card that won him the game too. So, in this case, I would play Hydroid Krasis, maybe? No, I would play the Hostage Taker to take his Tempest Djinn. Or don't... yeah. Yep. I can take the Tempest Djinn, cast the Tempest Djinn to use him as a blocker, and then have 2 mana open for Merfolk Trickster. Making a
can't take it to offensive yet.
Yep.
Do it.
Now I'm waiting for him to buff up his Surge Mare and attack. But he will not have enough power. Another Surge Mare. Now, let's pause there for a second and analyze the situation. Would casting Merfolk Trickster actually benefit me in this case? I would say no, because I could use the Merfolk Trickster to eat something, to eat damage, or to prevent an attack if he had a lot of aggressive moves or a Storm Tamer. So in that regard, Merfolk Trickster, in this case, better saved for defense, because I'm at 4 health, he's at 20 health. This is not a scenario that I can take such aggressive moves.
6, 7.
And I make sure to keep up 2 mana for a negate. Because knowing this deck, they actually run multiple entrancing melodies.
Basic Island.
Yep, the Tempest Djinn only gains power from Basic Island, but his role over here is to be a blocker.
Gives me a pretty nice blocker.
Okay, now I'm at 6 health. And right now, because I have the flyer advantage and enough creatures to block my opponent, I am able to take to offensive with my 5/500 Krasis. That is indeed the best move right now.
We're taking to offensive. Yeah, but I was expecting that.
I don't know what I'm talking about here, at least I don't remember. But right now that I'm holding up a negate and a Merfolk Trickster. So yes, it looks like my initial statement was incorrect. I did have a few negates because my opponent was playing a lot of less creature spells and more, well, counter spells. And just spells, so... Now here the time is on my side, so there is no need to kind of...
Okay.
Okay, we know he has an instant. He considers that Wild Growth Walker is not worth using his whatever instant that is, maybe a counter spell. Could be another Wizard's Retort. He has used already half of them, so... And already 2 dive downs are gone.
Not my turn.
Now, I do have enough blockers, so with 4 cards this is dangerous.
But for how long?
I only have 2 cards available. However, more than enough mana to cast, so if I pull another Hydro Krasis...
9, 10, 11, 12.
There I'm counting my mana. So my mana is double of his. And I have 2 times the amount of creatures on the field. However, I simply cannot afford... Or can I? Yeah, maybe I could have, say, used the Merfolk Trickster to swing earlier. That might have given me a few extra damage, but I don't think it would be enough to... simply because there is still at least one more Merfolk Trickster. One Merfolk Trickster could really screw me over and let him get some damage through, and I just cannot allow that. So right now, time is on my side. The longer the game goes, the more powerful I become. As such, it's better to play it defensively.
On my turn.
And besides, he has only 1 turn left. He can only... he must destroy the Hydra Krasis or block it somehow.
On my turn.
Storm Tamer.
Very well.
He plays Sleep, which would allow him to swing for lethal.
Screw that.